City of Denver, Colorado thinks it's not fair that landlords charge pet rent and pet security deposits, so they want to ban landlords from doing so. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. All right, so I have an interesting topic for you today, and it's going over the whole thing about pet rents. I've already covered other cities, other municipalities that want to ban these pet rents because they say it's not fair. It's not fair that landlords are charging extra to people who happen to own a pet. And, it's come down now to where they think having a pet is a right. Okay, that it's not just a privilege, it's not just something extra, it's not something that, people can have on top of their normal lives. So, you know what? It's ridiculous to me that these sort of laws are even being attempted to be passed. Okay, so obviously Denver, more progressive, more left-leaning place, right? So it doesn't surprise me to see this sort of law being proposed there. But they did throw a couple of provisions in there to kind of try to compensate the landlords. I'm going to tell you why those little provisions that they're adding in, they're just not going to work. Okay, it's just not as simple as they think it is. And in my opinion, pet rent and pet security deposit not only weeds out a lot of bad tenants, who are pet hoarders or who will just rip properties apart, but it also provides some sort of coverage for the repairs, for the damages that are done, okay? But before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button, maybe leave a comment down below, and let me know what you think. Do you think that, landlords really need to charge pet rent or pet security deposit? Now, I know landlords who don't. They allow pets in their units, yet they do not charge anything extra for in terms of security deposit or rent. Now that is up to the individual landlord, and that's one of the things I've always pointed out. These decisions should be up to the property owner, not the government. The government shouldn't be setting how much we are charging for rent, how much we are charging for security deposits, how much we are charging for application fees, etc. These government price controls, the only thing they do is make things worse. So let's get into this article. This article is coming from KDVRFox31.com, and it says, new bill could ban landlords from charging pet rent. Let's get into it. A new bill is being considered in the Colorado legislature, and it would ban pet rent and deposits for pet owners if passed. HB 231068 was introduced to the Colorado legislature on January 19th and is sponsored by Representative Alex Valdez. In downtown Denver on a warm day, it's nearly impossible to go a block without seeing an array of dogs walking with their owners. This new bill would tackle an issue that affects animal owners and their housing. According to HB 1068, the bill could provide several protections for pet ownership and housing. If passed, the bill would prohibit homeowner insurance providers from changing policy premiums based on the breed of dog, prohibit landlords from charging an additional security deposit or rent amount for pets, require officers conducting an eviction to follow specific protocols when pets are present, exclude pets from the personal items against which a landlord can place a lien for unpaid rent. So yeah, the law itself that they're proposing, it doesn't just go after landlords, right? You notice that part they said about the insurance providers, saying that they want to prohibit homeowners insurance providers from changing policy premiums based on the breed of dog. Now, I can tell you for a fact that my landlord insurance that I have over my properties, they specifically state in there that, this doesn't cover the more aggressive breeds of dogs. And I'm assuming, that's like pit bulls, Rottweilers, etc., right? And so a lot of what I tell my tenants is, hey, you can have a pet in my unit, you just can't have these breeds because my insurance provider will not allow that. So what they're trying to do is force the insurance providers to allow those breeds into the units, right? And then the landlord can't use that as an excuse to keep those tenants out of the property or keep those pets out of the property. They also want to prohibit landlords from charging an additional security deposit or rent amount for pets, right? Now, I have no problem with landlords charging an additional amount for security deposit or rent. Simply put, as I've mentioned time and time again, pets do cause excessive wear and tear on a property. And you will see it. I own pets. I know this. Okay, you cannot tell me it's not true. But you know what? If this legislator is sitting there, oh well, people in downtown Denver, all the yuppies who listen, those people can afford the pet rent. They can afford the pet security deposit. If they couldn't afford it, they wouldn't have those pets in the first place. Okay, the people that you are going to suddenly see having pets in the units are people who can't afford pets. Okay, they can't afford the security deposit, and now they start having pets in there. They're tearing our places up. They are, you got cats spraying the walls. You got dogs that are, ripping holes through doors. You've got scratches all up on floors. I mean, it just happens, and it's not right to say that, hey, we shouldn't be able to get compensated for the losses that we experience due to those pets. The bill would still compensate landlords for the damage caused by pets by creating the Pet Friendly Landlord Damage Mitigation Program. The program would reimburse landlords for up to $1,000 in damages caused by a pet at a rental property. And I'm going to stop right there, right? Because they're like, oh well, we're going to create this program, and it's going to reimburse landlords for up to $1,000. I'm like, well, what happens when the damage is more than $1,000? When I have a dog tear up all the carpeting inside one of my houses, it's going to cost a lot more than $1,000 to replace that carpeting. Okay, a lot more. So yeah, that doesn't even make sense. You're sitting here and you're like, okay, well, we'll give you a little, a dime or two on the cost that you're going to actually incur for these pets. Now, if here's the thing with a security deposit, if the pet doesn't cause damages, right, the security deposit will be returned to the tenant. So it's not like the landlord is making a whole bunch of money off of, yeah, I'm just collecting these security deposits. No, okay, it's not happening. But I see it in a similar fashion as I see places that charge for garbage service, for the, like I think they call it like garbage valet service. So there's some apartment buildings now that pick up the garbage at people's doors and then get rid of it for people. Some apartment complexes they charge for parking. Basically, for any special privilege such as owning a pet, right? Sometimes it's going to cost a little bit more. And in particular with pets, because they do damage, it's necessary. An eligible landlord must allow pets and cannot charge a deposit or rent on pets. Reimbursements would be granted on a first come, first served basis after a landlord provided documentation of the damages. The reimbursement also prohibits landlords from taking legal action against the tenant or pursuing collection against the tenant. So yeah, they're like, oh yeah, we'll give you $1,000, but you can't sue the tenant. So yeah, the tenant did $3,000 worth of damages. The tenant's pet did $3,000 worth of damages in my place. But if I take your $1,000 and I only lose $2,000, well, I can't sue the tenant. Yeah, a bunch of garbage. Okay, bunch of garbage put in place by people who have no clue how we operate our businesses. And once again, it's just proof positive that the government interfering with the way that landlords are running their businesses is a bad idea. Okay, the bill is being heard by the Transportation, Housing, and Local Government Committee on Tuesday. Well, my hope is that they look at this and they're like, okay, listen, we at least before we pass any laws, before we make any decisions with regard to how landlords are operating their business, maybe we should go talk to some landlords. I mean, we talked to some tenants about this. We talked to some tenants. There were some tenants who said, yeah, paying a pet's rent is kind of hard, and paying a pet security deposit is kind of hard. But they never talk to landlords about why they're charging pet rent. They never talk to landlords about why they're charging pet security deposits. They never talk to landlords about the kind of damages that pets do or how much in general it costs to repair those damages after the tenant moves out. They never talk to landlords at all. And this is one of the biggest problems I have with a lot of these governments, agencies, the bureaucrats, etc. They want to pass laws and pass rules and then never actually talk to the actual stakeholder, the person who has to spend their money to keep that property up, okay? And that's us, that's the landlords. We are the ones they need to talk to. And maybe if they listen to us, use their brains, then we could explain to them, hey, we charge these not because we make a profit. We don't make a profit off of security deposits. We don't make a profit off of charging pet rent. This is just to cover the damages that are being done. So, yeah, stupid law. I hope that it doesn't pass up in Colorado. I hope they actually talk to the landlords, but you know how this stuff goes, right? These progressive places, they are very anti landlord and they're only going to make things worse.